So I'll go and get some stuff that's really good.
Good evening. It's 6:15 on June 5th, 2019. I'm going to call the Dudley Conservation Commission meeting open. Commissioners present.
Nancy Vukovic.
Samantha Costello.
George Slingo.
Fran Michelagic.
First on the agenda is 74 Flaxville Road, notice for intent to remove 88 immature dead trees to create pathway to the water for handicap access. Public hearing continued. I'll open the public hearing at 6:16.
We were here previously 3 weeks ago, sorry that's loud, to deliver a notice of intent for 3 specific actions. 1, to remove trees. 2nd was to add an ADA accessible path. And the 3rd was to replant once we've removed the trees. There was a concern raised by one of our abutting neighbors about erosion, and the determination in the last meeting was that the vice chairman, yourself, and the wetlands consultant, Matt Morrow, would come out for a site review, and we'd go with their recommendation.
Okay, I went out there with Matt and we walked the property.
Yes.
And Matt's recommendation is that, I put my glasses on to read it. Erosion protection must be in place. Matt and I told the applicant she can cut the pines and replace and replant sugar maple or oak to restore the canopy. The applicant would only have to space out about 25 trees as the canopies are much wider than the pines. The pines on the property were too densely planted to maintain a healthy population. The remainder of the trees she marked are to remain. There is an area by the wetland that the applicant also marked. That should not be touched. Erosion control can be along the shore. No shoreline cutting will be permitted.
I just had a couple of questions. One, so there's like 3 of the pines that continues near the shoreline. So I was wondering, what does the definition of shoreline mean? Is it like right at the water's edge? Is it a couple feet away?
25 feet.
Okay.
We have a no-touch zone of 25 feet from the water's edge.
Okay, but some of the pines that he says we can remove are within that 25 feet.
Yes, from that. We're allowing you to do that, but you have to replant.
Sure. Yeah, I understand the replanting part.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
For the erosion measures, is there, what specifically in the order of conditions will you specify what that means? Like, I assume we have to put something down, but I don't know how to go by erosion control, so.
It's your choice. You could either use wattles
Okay.
or hay bales and silt fence.
Okay, and we would run that along the shoreline for the area where we're taking out the pines, which is about the left quarter of the property, the right part where you saw the.
We have that walkway that's going all the way down.
Yeah.
If you put that on
Okay.
right there, that'd be fine.
Okay, makes sense.
Thanks. Are there any abutters? Would you like to speak? Could you please come up here and state your name?
Hi, how are you?
The question I had as an abutter was, I wasn't the one that filed the complaint about the erosion, but I did have to express a concern, that's why I came tonight. My property is located in the cove. If you're coming down their property, it's on the right-hand side, so nothing would be affected by my property, by what they're attempting to do.
He's talking about on the right side of the access road, so the area they told us not to touch is the area that would be abutting your land, so there'd be
Okay.
nothing touched over there.
That's the impression
You
I
do
got.
have a tree that's fallen into our land that
Correct.
I'd like to cut down, since it's a hazard hanging down.
Okay.
It's split and is like at eye level. That should be removed at some point, but it's just a split tree. But other than that, nothing would be touching that area.
So would you remove that, or should I remove that?
The tree is on your side, but it fell into ours, so I don't know what the.
What's the protocol in that?
Usually if it's on, the tree is, if the trunk is on, if the base is on your property, then you should remove it.
Okay.
But
You're welcome to
Yep.
come over and cut the part that's on. We have no issues with that.
Okay, I'll take care of
You
that.
can come on, or you can come
Okay.
over and talk anytime.
Okay, sounds good. All right, from what I heard, sounds like I'm good. I just wanted to check, double check the, as an abutter,
Yep.
basically, when you saw the property, you identified any issues that might be concerning my land. Correct?
As an abutter?
As an abutter, when you came down and looked at the property and reviewed everything,
Yep.
you took consideration for the abutting properties
I looked at,
based on your decision-making?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good then.
And that's why we're making them put the
Right.
oaks and the maples back up.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Great job. Tom.
Michelle, nice to meet you.
Are there any other abutters? Could you please state your name for the record?
Hi, Nicole Kucherov. I asked the question about erosion, so
Yep.
thank you so much for addressing that. Just wondering, when they're planting the new trees, is there like a time frame for that, and how do you go about like helping them plant them and forcing because I assume those trees would be planted along where they have cut the pines and where they're cutting them, which is abutting our land.
Well, according to DEP, what we have to do is, it's the canopy, that's not so much, so as long as it's spaced out where the canopy is still providing shade, that's what I guess they're more interested in than anything else.
Right. So how do you are you coming back to check that the trees
Yes.
are planted? And
Yes.
Okay.
They're gonna have to file for certificate of compliance, and we're gonna have to make sure those trees are up and growing and are healthy.
Okay.
The permit's for 3 years, and once we complete the work, we file for an order of compliance. So some of the ones they're going through tonight will be the order of compliance, and then the consultant comes back out to ensure that the planning happened, sign off, and then they release the whatever's put on our deed showing that we have the permit.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else? Hearing any questions from the board?
No.
Hearing none, I will close the public hearing at 6:22. Might be 3. Close
Mr.
enough.
Chair, I would like to make a motion that we issue an order of conditions with the special condition to cut the pines and replace them with sugar maples and oaks to restore the canopy. The remainder of the trees marked should remain. The trees in the area by the wetland that were marked are not to be cut. No shoreline cutting is to be permitted.
I'll second it. Wait, erosion protection. Nancy?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. And then there's also for the erosion protection along the shoreline.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Carol will still wait till the end?
Yep.
Okay.
And you want to check it to see if anyone is here for Lions Road. If not, you can just
Skip it.
just move to continue rather than open and
Is there anybody here for Lions Road?
Oh, I make a motion, we continue the public hearing to June 26th for the engineering changes and the DEP file number and comments.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the meeting to our next 6:26. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. '61 Airport Road Legacy Landing, notice of intent for subdivision, public hearing continued. Still no DEP file?
Correct.
Okay.
They've requested the public hearing to be continued.
I make a motion, we continue the public hearing for 61 Airport Road, Legacy Landing, to June 26th.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the public hearing to 6:26. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Fish Road, Anrad.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Mary Ann DePinto, Three Oaks Environmental, representing the property owner Jimmy Zajac. We filed the ANRAD for some of the bordering vegetated wetlands that are closest to the active gravel pit. It's currently being filled with similar soils, and eventually they'll get closer to the wetland areas. So we wanted to verify what those wetland areas, oh, I should give you these.
I'm sorry.
I'll open the public hearing at 6:25.
Back in late summer, early fall, I walked the wetland areas with Matt Marrow and to verify, and you have a more recent plan because the survey company, it created the plan without the wetland flag numbers on it. So I had them reissue it with the flag numbers in place. I also submitted a report showing how the wetlands were delineated. Basically, the wetlands on the site were former borrow pits for the gravel pit. They were done more than 5 years ago, so they turned into wetlands. What they did is they excavated down to groundwater. These were tough to walk around because the slopes on them are very steep, so the wetlands are narrow around these. Yeah, the wetland line is very obvious because of the steep slopes. I thought I did it. There's an access gravel drive that's existing, and it's currently lined with hay bales and silt fencing because trucks are using that actively. On either side of that, there are bordering vegetated wetlands A and B, with the culvert underneath the road. Wetland B discharges, wetland D discharges off-site to the Quinnebog River. On the opposite side of the rail trail, there's a very large wetland system that was created, again, by the gravel removal. It's really a very nice ponded area with a bordering vegetated wetland at the upper end of it. And then again, steep slopes. I could not go across the other side and hang flags. So the edge of water is what the surveyors picked up because it's extremely steep. So I started flagging with BVW 1 and around to BVW 62. That big wetland discharges beneath the rail trail through a culvert, and that stream passes underneath the rail trail and then follows parallel to the rail trail and the agricultural field. There's an isolated wetland, which is an agricultural pond, or that's what its original use was. And I flagged just one side of it because it's in the gravel pit's in the buffer to that isolated land subject to flooding or isolated vegetated wetland. I just wanted it to be noted that it existed there. What else? The open field area is agriculture, and at first I was thinking there'd be a 200-foot riverfront area, but as long as it's just agriculture, the riverfront area is 100 feet wide for agriculture. No work is ever intended in that agricultural field, and if at any point it is, then we'd file for riverfront and to verify the bank. But at this time, we're not looking to verify the riverfront area. But I wanted to make sure that you knew that we weren't going to be anywhere near it, the riverfront. I actually have some, I also have the floodplain. The floodplain is actually within the riverfront area and the open field and the wetlands, and none of that goes into the gravel pit. There's a very large berm between the agricultural field and the gravel pit that really protects the field from that gravel operation. I don't know if you have any questions.
Are there any abutters? Please state your name for the record.
name is Timothy Zajac. I am one of the abutters. And I have some concerns and some questions. We've never been really notified, and I'm not sure what you're talking about as far as the agricultural land that's never going to be used for anything other than agriculture. Is that his land, or is that part of the trust?
I believe it's owned by him and his sister?
Okay, so he doesn't own it solely?
Not solely, no.
No, okay. My next question is, what is his plan to do with this property?
Eventually agriculture.
Agriculture?
Yes, a grandson, he said. There's a grandson that wants to farm.
He's going to use that land, his land, for agriculture?
Eventually.
He's removed how much gravel?
I'm not sure. I just know that there's similar soils coming into the pit, and it's being filled.
I have
for
concerns about the removal of all this gravel and the delineation of wetlands, or producing wetlands as an abutter. And I would like this actually to be, I was just notified of this myself as an abutter yesterday. Unfortunately, my sister is in New York at a funeral, and she was the one that represents the trust. So, and she's also the one that owns the property that is going to be, just according to him, used as just agricultural land. There is absolutely no communication between Mr. Zajac and the Zajac family. So I would like an extension and a...
Right now, we're only dealing with if the wetlands are marked accurately.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all,
There's
that's
no
all they're
work
asking for.
proposed.
They're not asking for anything else.
No.
So right
Okay.
now, the only issue before this board,
Okay, I don't know what I was walking into and stuff, so I did not receive a letter as an abutter. So
I got the assessor's list.
you did not,
I did not receive a letter. So, and neither did my other sister.
That's the list of everybody that got the letters.
Is your property line within 100 feet of that property line? If it's more
I don't
than
know.
100, then you wouldn't be notified?
I'm sorry?
If it's more than 100, you wouldn't be notified?
Well, my other sister received a letter.
Do you know where your property line is and where it abuts theirs?
No, unfortunately, I don't know where they're even talking about. The property that, there's 3 parcels of, or 3, not trusts,
This is
but,
what these are all the parcels that got letters, the yellow.
okay. But anyways, there's the Zajac Trust, which Jimmy, myself, and my 2 sisters own. And I believe we are abutters. And then there's another parcel of land which is owned by Jimmy and my sister Katie, who was supposed to be here this evening, but unfortunately had to go to New York for a family death. So I'm kind of been put into this position last minute just to make sure there's nothing going on that's not above board.
you said your name was,
Timothy.
Yeah, he's on there.
No, I think that it
No.
says Timothy and, what's the second name?
Something Kramer's.
Catherine?
Catherine Kramars is my sister that was
Right.
supposed to be here
So
this
you-
evening.
so you
She's
put
the
the
letter-
only
you
one
didn't-
that got the letter.
So jointly on the one that was addressed to her.
It
I'm
says
sorry?
Timothy and,
Yes, it says Timothy I. and Catherine Kramer's.
is Catherine's husband's name Timothy?
No,
No,
No, he's Timothy.
he's Timothy.
That's
but I'm not a Kramars.
See, you both got one letter. And it probably went to
Well,
your
there's
sister.
actually 3 of us.
But it's,
One
you're
address.
listed as one of the,
Tim.
you're
Of the
joining-
recipients?
Catherine.
That's possible. I mean,
Yeah,
like
it
I said,
is.
my sister was the one that was supposed to be
Right.
here
Yes,
this
we-
evening.
we-
And I just, like I said, I got a phone call from her last night. There was a death in her family, her husband's
you-
family, or her son's family.
If you look at from the assessor's map type
Yep.
of information, it says Zajac Edward J. Jr., Timothy I., and Kramar's Catherine. So if she was the executive, went to her. So you
Okay,
didn't-
and there's
you didn't
also
get one.
another owner, that's Susan Hibbard, my other sister.
That's not listed there, right? Yeah.
She's part of the trust.
You might want to check with the assessor's office if her
Yeah.
name
Correct
should be
it.
on there, to have it listed.
Okay,
Or
I'll
have
talk
her
to my
come down.
sister when
Because that's where you get
she
the
gets home
abutters
and have her straighten it out, because she handles most of the trust and most of the situations. We're not trying to be difficult with my brother, but there's no communication, and just as abutters, we want to make sure that everything is
But like I said, tonight,
Tonight.
the only thing we're dealing with is
Did she mark-
actually, the
so
where
it
the
was.
wetlands is marked.
Okay. My sister didn't tell
And
me
our
that, because
wetland-
I would have gone home.
Our wetland consultant went out there.
It's just the
and,
boundaries right now.
Yes.
According to Matt, he recommends the approval because he says all the markings are accurate.
Mhm.
As she has marked them, they're accurate.
So on this print,
Okay. Yeah, I have no issues with that. Like I said, I had some concerns with what she said, that this property is being used for agriculture.
Public hearing closed,
That's-
right?
That's what he's talking about. Who knows what he'll do to
Instead of continue.
Let me give you a copy of
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
the
Copy.
delineation.
So, like
know
I
it's
said,
kinda small.
unfortunately, there's no communication
Yeah.
there since my father's passing. And anyways, we just want to keep things honest. And we actually would like the land that's owned by the trust to go into conservation property. And I believe my brother, I can't speak for him now, but I think he has other plans. And that's why I find it kind of interesting that his grandson is going to use it for agricultural purposes. But I can't, he's not here and I can't speak for him.
And it's hearsay on my part, so.
Yeah. So, like I said, and we are not here to create any kind of issue or controversy. Want to let him do what he wants to do, make money any way he wants to make money on the land. So,
okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Are there any other abutters?
I make a motion that,
Close, we can close the public
Close the
hearing.
hearing at
close it here,
6:36.
6:36.
6:36. I make a motion that we move to approve 30 Fish Road delineation as accurate.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Very good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You won't be seeing me anymore unless there's another death. My sister
Told
has
you
to
Sunday.
come. So, thank you very much.
Okay, next on the list is 2 Shine Ave, request for certificate of compliance. Matt's recommendation is okay to issue this compliance.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 2 Shine Avenue.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded for 2 Shine Ave. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next is Sunrise Shores, certificate of compliance. Matt's recommendation is to issue it.
I make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 9 Sunrise Shores.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
See, I was brushing. That's Nichols.
Nichols College, request for certificate of compliance. Matt's recommendation is okay to issue it.
I make a motion, we issue a certificate of compliance to Nichols College for 104 to 132 Center Road.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 135 Schofield Ave, Hanky Sass Wolf, request for certificate of compliance. Matt's recommendation is to issue it.
I make a motion, we issue a certificate of compliance to 135 Schofield Avenue, Hanky Sass Wolf.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion that we accept the meeting's minutes as presented for May 15th, 2019.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the minutes for May 15th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Well, first, is there, what are you here for?
Water bill?
The water department? This is conservation. I'm not sure where they're meeting. 3:15.
I see Jay Spall going down that way.
It's adjourning at 6:40. Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.